I won't lose no sleep. Prayers. Yeah. I know that one man sold too early for 2 pieces of pies. Another man held for 15 years, now his kids are set for life.
So I'm still vibing to that new intro. I love it. Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back once again to another blockchain banter at internet speed. And I don't need to give an introduction to the man with us, our guest today, but I will anyways. It's Roy O'Neill from the KII. Welcome back. Hope you're doing very, very well today.
Yeah, doing well.
Great to hear. Great to hear. I can only imagine. So yes, hopefully you're doing well as well, Joe. Sorry for the bit delay today. Just getting some final things kind of sorted out before we went live today. But we're here now and we're ready to give the deep dive, the alpha, if you will, regarding KRI. One of the, I would say, the most interesting things that a lot of people in the Casper community are always eager to hear more about. Every time Roy speaks, people just kind of shut up and listen. I feel like it's a reoccurring theme right now. So I'm gonna just get straight into it and kick it off right here and now on a little bit of a kind of a lighter note before we get into the deep dive stuff. But I hear, Roy, that you went to Canada not too long ago and you met up with Chad, Kaspa Commons, and there were some other little exciting things that took place in Canada as well. If you wouldn't mind giving us your insight on that.
Yeah, we were in Canada for a few different reasons. Meeting with investors, and that was fun. Meeting with institutions and banks and various different people, and catching up with some old friends. Just putting in place some future groundwork for what we're going to do later this year and early next year. So that was good fun, and we had a little side excursion last time we talked a little bit about Star Trek, and we actually went and visited the set. So we got to meet Chad as well in Toronto, and we then went to go hang out with the Star Trek people, which was great. So I have some photos from the visit.
Oh, please share them.
Don't tell anyone that we hid some Casper merch courtesy of Chad on the Star Trek set.
Don't worry, it won't go anywhere. Only on YouTube.
So will we see a Casper sticker on the captain's chair, or?
No, maybe underneath.
Oh. Then you just see that episode going live, you just see the captain looking up, what's Casper? Just look underneath the seat. Are we able to show some photos? Is that currently being loaded up?
Yeah, here we go now.
Yep. Oh, sweet. Wow.
Is that full screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Now I can make it bigger. You can get us off the screen. Well, that's
you don't see us anyways.
That's a bit better. Yeah, so that's it's unbelievable how big this place is. They have 6 sound stages. It's just unbelievably enormous when you actually get on site and see the size of everything. So we went and we visited and we hung out with some friends. So from our side, we had myself, Envy, and one of my closest friends, Shivat Yerli. Those of you who have never heard his name before are probably familiar with his work. He was the founder of Crytek, the gaming company, and their games Crysis and Far Cry were pretty big hits. So Shivat is an expert in gaming engines, and a lot of the technology they're actually using to make the show derives from a lot of his earlier work. So we met up and hung out with Bob Picardo, who plays the holographic doctor, in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, or sorry, Star Trek Academy.
Voyager. Yeah,
and Star Trek Voyager. And here he's actually holding 2 prototype chips in his finger. And they are optical processing chips for a project that we're working on. We thought it was fun to have the holographic doctor to, at the photonic chips. And of course, we had to get to sit and take command of the bridge, which was very nice.
And put a Kaspa sticker underneath it as well.
With Bob and slap a sticker underneath, exactly. And Envy, myself, and Shavat with the holographic doctor on the bridge. It's not lit up with all the special effects and everything else, so the screens weren't working. That was disappointing. But, you get the general idea.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Just another picture from the set. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah.
So that was our little adventure into Star Trek world, and we had a great time, and we spent a lot of time discussing futurist technology, what the world and society will look like in the future. Will we have the Star Trek utopia, or will we have something unbelievably bad? But it was a great experience, and it's also very inspiring because you get a glimpse at what the future might look like. And if you think back to Star Trek in the 1960s, and all the things that we have today as real devices, like our phones and tablets and all sorts of other cool things. A lot of people were inspired by Star Trek throughout the years, through all the different series and genres, and it's pretty awesome to have been part of seeing behind the curtain and seeing how the magic is made. So
yeah, I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I'm very jealous.
Before we get into the updates, Rory, can you just quickly tell us about the radiation sign behind you? Where did that come from?
As you can see, it's in English and in French. So it came from CERN, where I went dumpster diving. They were refurbishing an area of CERN where the Large Hadron Collider is, and I spotted this in a bin and decided that it was coming with me. I'm a big enough guy that I was able to sneak it out under my coat.
And bringing it back on the plane, you had no hassle. It went straight in the suitcase.
There's no radiation on it or anything, so.
Thank God. I thought that'd be a dangerous dumpster dive. I'll say that much.
Yeah, that could have ended pretty badly.
Rory, so can we start off? Can you give us a few updates? Do you want to start off on the ZETA? How's that going? Do you have any updates on that?
Yeah, ZETA is the Zero Emission Traders Alliance, which is the sister organizations of KII and DII. And ZETA was formed to bring standards and develop standards for the market for the energy transition. So as we're moving away from oil and gas into more sustainable and cleaner technologies, there needs to be ways of translating that into trading and standards, and also looking at the environmental attributes that are associated with it, and then building venues where we can actually trade. So we've architected a trading platform called ZETA, the ZETA Exchange, and that's great. That works like any other exchange, like Binance or Coinbase or anything like that, but specifically for energy instruments and both the commodity, and then we separate the environmental aspects into separate tradable derivatives. So a big part of what ZETA, a big part of what we do generally, both in KAI and in ZETA, and to some extent DAI, is we work on actually creating the markets. We work on market design and standards within the markets, and that takes up a huge amount of our time, because there's a lot of people say, well, we can tokenize a solar farm, or we can tokenize energy, or we can do this and we can do that. Actually, it's not really that simple. It requires a lot of work in terms of designing the market. What are all the parameters that are needed? What data has to be captured? What's the provenance of a particular molecule or electron, and what green energy parameters it carries with it. And then we have to design how it's traded, what the rules around the trading are, what the power purchase agreements look like, what that looks like when it moves across borders and across nations and regions. And a big part of what we're doing is developing these standards, and I'll share with you some of the work that we're doing on the standards.
Ooh. Wow.
Let me just. It's boring enough stuff, but just give me a second till I figure out how to do the share screen again.
I don't find it boring. I understand why it might perceive as boring because it's back end stuff, but I feel like for a lot of people, it's quite knowing even just to a basic extent, the inner element or the working behind of how these things function. It also helps in the belief of what it is actually trying to be built, and that also just fuels for the conviction as well. So I mean, I find this stuff very interesting, I can say.
Yeah. So before we can ever tokenize a hydrogen plant or any of the environmental derivatives, we have to start off with standards and market design that most of the industry agree with. And, that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years in different working groups. So we have a very detailed structure which goes into hundreds and hundreds of documents. In total, I think there's over 170 documents in total around how the market is architectured. So you can maybe see here all the different models, what the functions are, what the downstream effects are. So this is all very important to actually build the markets so that we can actually end up tokenizing it and trading it.
So it's accurate to suggest, therefore, that what's being built on ZETA is, very, very important to how it manifests into the use case of Casper going forward as well, or your use case of Casper going forward as well.
Very much so. Casper is mentioned in this, but so we have a reference library which has 83 documents, and it's all the different registers and assumption logs and governance and everything else that's associated with it. And then all of the standards, the interoperability standards, product definition books, benchmark methodologies, digital messaging standards, certificate data standards, and all of the things you actually need to actually design and build a market in real life before we can actually take it on chain and use it in Kaspa. And we have a lot of stuff here. So we've from architects to standard taxonomies and core definitions and certificate standards, a whole legal core, including credit supports and credit netting and all sorts of different jurisdictions for trading, and then the commercial templates for power purchase agreements and carbon trading templates and market making templates.
So when people ask you, Rory, when are we going to see something working? It's because of all this, because all the work that goes in behind the scenes, like all the compliance, and it's just lots.
This takes an army of people and different people from within the industry to actually agree on the standards and what data is captured and transmitted and recorded, and then what the legal implications are. So a huge part of what we do is developing these standards, and that's that's quite significant. And you can see there's a lot that goes into this. And we use Kaspa as the assumed standard L1 for everything that we're doing here.
Wicked.
So there's quite a bit in it. I don't think this is not the live one. This is just a static one for this. But you get an idea of just the background work that goes into building what we're building. It's quite significant. It takes a lot of time.
I can only imagine. You've got 100 plus documentations and a whole legal part. Like, yeah, I could only imagine, especially because in my limited expertise, I know when it comes to legal, it's especially when you're trying to do what you're doing with Casper, and that means doing it across the globe, and the regulatory frameworks for somewhere in the UK will very much differ to areas in China or the United States or Europe. So you've got to create, I'd imagine, create whole different kind of legal parameters to kind of match all of that and then merge together on Casper's decentralized architecture.
Yeah, we have to map it all then to Casper. And the smart contracts and the instruments that we're creating in terms of tradable tokens, and that's a lot of work. That's a big part of what we're doing. So, you're right. When people do ask the question, "What are we doing?" Most of the time, it's boring stuff like this.
Lay the foundation.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that, so it just puts some things into context. So we're doing this for ZETA. We're doing it with some other things as well, in terms of supply chains and other bits and pieces that we're working on in different projects. So this is a nice little piece of work.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing more from it in the future.
Yeah. So when we were in Canada, actually, just to move on a little bit, we met a lot of different institutions and banks and everything else, and one of the things they wanted, and we could explain Casper to them, and we had slides that explained it and everything else, and of course they want to put their analysts on to research it for either using Casper or investing in it, and so on and so forth. And what we realized is there's so many different sources of truth in the market. And what we ended up doing was we ended up preparing a new document for financial institutions, the Casper Gold paper. So Casper has had a white paper, but Casper has evolved very significantly since, and because it's a decentralized project, it's very difficult to have one source of truth. So we developed this document just to guide investors, institutional investors, and banks who want to work with us and with KAI and other companies and businesses. We put this document together for those folks, and there's been very good feedback from it. It gives them a very useful understanding of what we're doing, and what Kaspa is and what Kaspa is doing. So that's a document that we have that we've been sharing, and it's been helping educate financial institutions. And this document is generally accompanied with a document on Warcore or any of the other projects that we're working on, including ZETA, because people are interested in how tokenization will work going forward. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, seeing even more. So I think that's the one benefit. And I think the reason also why the likes of Lev and Chris asked me and Joe to do this on YouTube, because it's always great to hear your insight when you hear it on the Twitter Spaces or the X Spaces. It's great, but getting a visual cue here is at least for me. I know I'm a visual person more than words. So when I see that visually, I'm like, wow. It puts an image to what's being spoken about and makes it feel so much more real as well. So yeah, thank you very much, Rory, for that.
Yeah, so you know, we've been busy with this, and then I suppose going back to the boring regulatory stuff, we recently made a submission to the Central Bank of Ireland. We have a public consultation on DLT and tokenization, and we made a very, very, very strong case for Kaspa. I'll just bring up and share the document again.
And how are they, Rory? Are they receptive on all this kind of stuff? Like, are they getting better over time?
Yeah, they're very knowledgeable. They're starting to understand blockchain and blockchain technology, quite well. Irish Central Bank more so than others.
Yeah. Surprised at that.
Yeah, but I suppose given Ireland is host to so many different financial institutions, we here in Ireland there's a lot of interest in tokenization, and then as part of a broader European Central Bank and European Commission effort, there's a lot of work going on. So we made this very, very detailed submission on behalf from KAI, but it basically we're just advocating for Kaspa. So it's quite a big detailed document. I think it runs long. So there's a lot to it.
And is the word cryptocurrency used in there, or are you just sticking to decentralized ledger technology?
We talk more about decentralized ledger technology, and in the case of Casper, we're talking about a real-time decentralization L1. So we've just gone through the history, and then they have a whole bunch of questions in terms of real-world assets and liquidity and so on. So there's a lot to this. I think this document is about 30 pages long. But one of the questions is, that they're worried about is who's responsible for what, and Kaspa being a totally decentralized, fair launch, no VC, properly, truly decentralized project. One of the things that the central banks care about and financial institutions is who do we pick up the phone and call if something breaks, or if there's an incident, or if there's a bad transaction, who do they actually call? And the answer is very difficult to explain. So we built this table to actually say, well, at every step of the process, in terms of know your customer, anti-money laundering, sanction screening, custody management, any of the issues that can arise at other layers or levels, and not at the Kaspa level itself.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you guys can actually see this. I can zoom in.
Yeah.
But we built this table to discuss that, and we were able to prove that Kaspa isn't decentralization and just being a universal global layer that's has a history of 100% uptime is important, but the actual issues that they're worried about all sit elsewhere.
Really?
And not with the actual Casper layer at any point in time.
What, an example being like their concerns rely around like regulations and how it works more so than...
Yeah, and who's responsible for what?
Right, yeah.
And who they can prosecute or sue if there's an issue. And it's mostly about consumer protection and market protection to a certain extent. And we just say, well, look, Casper is just a neutral layer. It just records the information that's given to it. And if the information that's given to it is bad, well then,
yeah, who's liable?
We're not accountable.
Yeah,
we're simply a ledger, and we only can deal with the information that's given to us. But we can build in safeguards and everything else, and we'll discuss that later on, I'm sure.
Oh, well, sick. Yeah. All right, well, let's transition and move on. Do you want to go with the question, Joe, or do you want to go just straight into... Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'll share one thing here with you.
Yeah, go for it.
So a bit of excitement going around about Warp Core. Envy had up this post, and it shows transactions on testnet 12 for Warp Core. I presume you know about this, Rory. You saw this one, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a person here. Sorry, I'll find them. Ross. I never heard of this guy before, but he seems to be very knowledgeable, and he has a book about Kaspa on Amazon for sale as well. But he has a single Warp Core transaction is over 200 times heavier than a normal transaction. Would that be true, Rory?
In certain cases, it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends if we add metadata. It depends on if we're using a Merkle tree. It depends on the type of transaction and what payload it needs to carry. Or it could be 200,000 or 300,000 transactions all rolled up into one.
Wow. Well, that's not that I'm a miner, but I can imagine from a miner perspective, then that could make the work of what's happening on Warp Core particularly very, very big for them.
Yeah, Warp Core's been... We've been working on it for a while, and we've redesigned it and rebuilt it several times based on feedback that we've received and benchmarking that we've done and future-proofing it for what we want to do. So we did a full, the most recent big update to it was we did a full rewrite in Rust, and that took up quite a bit of time, but we're quite happy that it's stable now, and we've been doing a lot of testing with it, and we've built it in such a way that it's useful not only for us and financial institutions, but also for other things that we want to do in the future.
And a lot of people worry about the security budget, Rory. I know you said in the future that when Warp Core gets going, people won't really have to worry about that. I'm not too well up on that specifically, but like the heavier a block is, it means the more fees go to the miner. Would that be right? And Warp Core is going to use up a lot of space in the blocks for transactions. Would that be right?
Yeah, well, for banking transactions, if you're currently a bank and you're doing a SWIFT transaction, from from one bank to another, it's going to cost you about $25. So,
Okay.
the equivalent of what the fee for Caspa would be is nothing. It's negligible. But there's a lot of volume potentially out there, depending on how much traction we get. But if you like, I can show you some workcore stuff.
Oh,
Yes,
please.
please.
More alpha. Let's go.
So let me just share the screen again. I will.
This is why. Sorry, Rory. I was just saying this is why our show is better than Chris and Levendi's show, because they can't see it on X, and X keeps crashing.
Yeah, I saw Chris said it. I think it was replying to your post as well, saying, "Wow, you guys are almost as good as ours." I'm like, yeah. Almost. Sounds like a challenge.
You have to be careful what you're sharing, Rory.
Not that I've complained, but
no.
I'm sure you.
Just 1 second. So this is Workcore's demo page for institutional clients. I hope you can see it okay.
Yeah. I'll make it bigger for this. Yeah.
Maybe I can just zoom in and it'll just go through the process of what Workcore actually does. So most banks have a standard messaging format in XML, and there's a whole bunch of different codes associated with different types of transactions. So what Workcore does is it ingests the standard banking message, goes through a compliance screening for sanctions lists, anti-money laundering, and this thing called the travel rule, which is where if you move more than X amount of money across borders, it has to be reported. So there's a compliance screening, and in our testing, we've had to adjust things, and we've had transactions fail because we've had to simulate transactions going to Al Qaeda or Russian oligarchs and people who are on these different sanctions lists. So we've part of our testing is to ensure that the compliance screening works really well. Then we have a zero knowledge proof circuit and verification, and then it goes on to Casper for settlement or recording the data, depending on what type of transaction it is. And then we get a return settlement report on what actually occurred.
Awesome. So do you get I know you mentioned back in January now about how Workcore worked in a sandbox environment with the banks. Has there been like a lot of like positive feedback, or maybe even more banks jumping on board since there as well?
Yeah, we've had a lot of feedback, and so we've expanded the capabilities of Workcore quite a bit. So what I can safely say is that Workcore, in terms of banking services, offers more capabilities than anything else on the market, and it's the only full ISO banking system on proof of work.
Nice.
So it's really fast. It works really well. I hope when I press the button, it actually works. If not, I have a fallback. But I'll just show you an example. So this is a proposed transaction of $15,000 between JP Morgan in New York and Deutsche Bank in Frankfurt. And so what we have here is the payment instruction from the bank, and we can submit that. And that's gone through.
lightning fast.
That's quick.
Lightning fast. Oh my lord, that is wicked.
Is that much quicker than Swift?
Swift is like 3 to 5 days sometimes, no?
Oh, okay. It was a bit quicker than
just a little, just only a little bit though. Nothing too, it's only 3 to 5 seconds.
And then we get a settlement report. So just in terms of this is being reset today. So for this show, because this version runs locally, it just gives a live feed of the transactions that we've done and recent payments. And again, more payment details. So we have the history of what we've actually been processing. We have a whole compliance section. So this is a pre-flight check service for banks. So before it ever hits Warp Core, we have a module that does pre-flight before we do anything, and even before we do the second sanction screening and AML and everything else, we have the ability for the banks to do it before, just to make sure that in large batches everything goes through quickly. And then we have our settlement section. That's not really. We have an audit chain. I'm not approved in this mode as an auditor. Yeah, I'm not an auditor admin. And then we have lots and lots of different APIs to connect to authentication, compliance. We should change that from blockchain to blockdag. Audit central bank digital currencies. Warp Core is capable of dealing with CBDCs and various other bits and pieces.
And do you still have the seven financial institutions testing in the sandbox?
We're moving into new sandboxes now.
Okay. I was just wondering, did they give you feedback? Like, what did they think of it? Did they see a difference, or?
They just want to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. It's just to get qualification that the product actually works and how it would integrate into their existing systems. So we've made it a lot easier by going a layer lower, so we can make bank integration much easier for financial institutions.
That sandbox with was it FCA? Was that in the UK? Wasn't it?
Yeah, we were working with a few different ones.
Oh, okay.
Our next one, I think, is Singapore.
Oh, massive market there, Singapore, and I've seen how much documentation they've posted on their stance on crypto. They're very eager, Singapore.
Yeah,
I mean, most countries are now, but I think they've been one of the most eager for the longest time, I think.
Yeah, so we've also given Warp Core the ability to issue stable coins, so for bank issued stable coins or CBDCs. And what we've done is we've rebuilt the KRC20 layer. We've dropped the KRC20 or the RC20 because that relates to Ethereum response station number 20. So it has no real meaning to the Casper ecosystem, so we call it KTT, Casper Trusted Tokens. But in this case, these tokens are wall-gardened, so no one can issue a KTT token unless there's been a KYC process has happened beforehand. And that's for everybody's safety. So we don't mind people if someone wants to come and launch NFTs using the trusted token, they'll go through a KYC process. So we can have a trusted system. and so that was something else that we built in. FX is another one, which we've been playing with, and that's been quite interesting for cross-currency settlements.
I see atomic PvP there.
And trade finance, so letters of credit, tokenized bills of landing, all sorts of other things related to securities as well.
What's that 9 trillion per year number represent? It's the market size, but market in regards to
supply chain invoicing and invoice discounting and things like that. So offering credit on the strength of invoices. So you give your invoice where you're expecting payment in 30 days, and a financial institution will release credit to you on the strength of that invoice.
Right. So it takes, so in this instance, so that market size $9 trillion, the process 5 to 30 days, and then when it actually is confirmed, and then it's less than 1 minute for warp quarter to issue and give you the payment.
Yeah, well, this is for a particular type of it's called invoice discounting. So if you're owed 30,000, we can give you a line of credit, or a financial institution can give you a line of credit of 25,000. So it can facilitate your working capital. So we have the ability to do that very, very quickly and digitally.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about that. Just in terms of stress testing. So you mentioned some of the messages we did earlier. These are some of the reports from the stress testing. Different currencies, different values, different banking participants.
Mm.
And then the different payment corridors that they've used. And then
These are all banks that have these are all banks that have stress tested Warp Core, or
no, just through the sandbox.
Okay, so banks who have stress tested Warp Core through Sandbox. Okay.
So we've had a 100% success rate so far. We've had messages fail on purpose because they were designed to. They were designed to pick up errors and things along the way. And I have just a little video which just shows the live demo, which you've already seen. Just let this run through because we do a much bigger transaction count in the next screen.
So quick. I know it's just a demo account, but it's so quick.
When you started off building Warp Core, Rory, did you think it was like, has it gone how you thought it was going to go, or is it like gone past your expectations?
No, we've exceeded what we wanted to do. So there's 20,000 payments going through. Wow. Fully confirmed in
7.9 seconds. Are you crazy? Oh my days!
And we're running this throttled. So we're not using the full capabilities either. There's 100,000 transactions.
This is insane. 2,500 per second.
We throttled this. We can go. We've gone, to 5,000, but we deliberately throttle it.
This is ridiculous. Oh my! How does this compare to the other chains out there right now?
A lot better.
I'd say.
Good question, Jay. Yeah.
Ripple, I think, are doing 1,500 transactions per second.
And we're doing, I say we're, KRI is doing 2,500 at a throttled state as well, so it could do a lot faster. That is nuts.
And that's before we batch them. So when we batch, you can see there was 28,000 pages of transactions. So I'll just stop this here. There was 28,000. Yeah, there was when we've batched the transactions, we've been doing more than 200,000 transactions per second.
Yeah. And Ripple and XRP does 1,500.
Yeah.
And they're meant to be perceived as the leading bank to bank.
We leave Ripple in the dust.
Oh, I mean, I'll say if they're meant to be the leading protocol right now for bank to bank transfers on blockchain, then and you're doing 200,000 compared to their 1,500, then it is not even like night and day. It's like.
And did you have some comparison, Rory, that you wanted to show us that you might have?
Yeah. Let me just share the screen again. I will figure this out eventually.
It's fine. I've been doing this for 2+ years, something like that. Even I struggle with it sometimes. Like what I should be doing when I actually do my content properly, I should be swapping between like the big cam and the screen record. I just keep it on one screen and talk because I'm too lazy. Too much complications.
So actually, just we've landed on this. This is the documentation with the system architecture and standards supported. So in terms of the standards that we actually support, it's very significant. So we cover almost all of the global standards that are available right now, including Fedware and MiCA compliance and various other different things. So
Casper is compliant with all those ISOs now, is it?
With True Warp Core it is, yeah.
Yeah, True Warp. Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing this is also the work that's been done. This is the work that's been conducted and stuff done through ZETA as well.
Yeah, so you can see here where you can see the different standard architectures that I use, and we're having great fun playing around with covenants and Silverscript and all sorts of other things.
Yeah. What will you be able to use the covenant, all the transaction rules for?
For lots of different things.
Yeah.
Actually, and we'll discuss some of those things maybe later. But we can use them for a lot of different things. It's a very useful tool, actually, and more secure than any layer 2s or anything else.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we also cover FedNow and Target 2, which is for the EU and the US, and CHAPS, which is for the UK. So we also have a whole bunch of different. So you can see here. I spoke many times before about working in Lego blocks. So we build in Lego blocks. So we have the ability for central bank digital currency issuance and redemption that's live and working right now. FX exchange, liquidity pool management, real-time gross settlement, order book matching for securities, security settlement. So that's a lot of the stuff that I think it's Corda is doing. We do that as well as everything else. We have our own KYC layer. CBDC interoperability, Swift MT message parsing. So that's actually going down one layer deeper into the bank, and various different workflow engines. So you can see this is who this is aimed at. So the primary audience and users of WarpCore is not the crypto community. It's for,
of course not,
banks, payment processors, central banks, securities exchanges, fintechs, people in the Casper ecosystem who want to build full stack financial applications. And then regulatory and compliance teams when they're evaluating DLTs for example, the SME bond market. The European Commission are working on things like that, like for giving demonstrations to the Central Bank of Ireland and other central banks, and then large financial institutions who want to issue their own stablecoins, so bank issued stablecoins. So we can facilitate bank issued stablecoins, and that's where then covenants really come into play.
And that, I mean, if God's willing, and if the Casper Core devs can pull off the unthinkable, that should be coming in less than a month and a half now.
Yeah.
So that would
be... we're already using them and testing them, and we're having great results. And I know the code is still being worked on and developed, and we're already seeing extraordinary results from it. So the May 5th upgrade will be very significant.
I can only hope they pull that off.
I don't see. I literally have no worries. The Casper Core team, they've never missed a deadline yet. In terms of the hard forks, everything has always gone smoothly. Everything is rock solid. We have no issues with anything. It's very rarely that it's very rare that we even have to go into the developer forums to search for a solution to a problem. Everything works really well, and hats off to the guys. They just do amazing work, and we're in such a fortunate position that we're able to benefit from this, and then actually use those tools and use Kaspa and use the ecosystem and tools that they've created to build things like this.
Yeah.
So the documentation is very thorough, as you can see. So we have everything is extremely well documented out, because we've as part of entering sandbox environments, you have to actually submit a whole bunch of documentation, and it's a milestone. It's just there's so much work that goes into it, and sample codes has to be given, and how you deal with everything. So there's a lot of different aspects that we've had to work on, and you can see it's extraordinarily well documented. So it's already MiCA compliant.
I'm pretty sure MiCA goes fully live in June this year, does it not?
I think it's already live, but it's already fully MiCA compliant.
Awesome.
So that's just a little bit about the documentation. Then in terms of the competition, where do we sit?
Hey, Gemma, move the faces so we can see the whole thing. Get in its all glory.
Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. So one of the things about a lot of the cryptos that say they're ISO compliant, yeah, they may well be, but all they're doing is they're just recording a transaction on on their chain. They're not actually doing the full message parsing or anything like that. So anybody can be ISO compliant. It doesn't take very much. But what we've done is we've gone much deeper and gone across a whole bunch of other layers to make it a real full financial stack. So these things are a little glib in just giving, big X's, but we do have actually details as to what they do actually have. But if it's just sort of just a hand waving sort of nod to particular ISO features, we've just given them a big X. But we do have a more detailed version of this that we might put out someday.
The orange, I'm guessing, refers to that they're in it's a work in progress, or it's a partial thing.
It's a partial thing.
Okay.
So, or they may only do one or two of the ISO banking messaging types. So they may only do interbank transfers or a very limited data set. We use the full complete data set, and as well as that, we're the only ones that have full security settlement and the security standards and sanctions and compliance engines built directly into the workcore middleware. So we set out to do standard ISO 222. We wanted to beat Ripple, and I think we've more than done that.
Yeah, only doing 200,000 transactions compared to their 1,500, only just slightly beating them, and that's without 100 BPS and competence fully online just yet. So
yeah, and this is just on the testnet.
Yeah.
We're already into more development where we'll add some more functionality. The next phase for us is to do external penetration testing by third-party sort of white hats to do full security lockdown on the whole system to make sure it's absolutely rock solid. We're not worried about the Casper part. It's the part that we've done that we're actually worried about. So we're doing some additional security hardening on that at the moment, and we'll be soon sending it for third-party validation.
Where would I just only just clocked this now? Where would Chainlink fit in this? Because I'm pretty sure Chainlink has some elements towards the connectivity of, or the connectivity of banking layers to other blockchains, if I'm not mistaken.
Chainlink are more of an Oracle provider, are they not?
Oh, that might be the case, yes. Maybe I've mistaken. That might be what it is. I just remember seeing it from KEF where they were talking about, in response to Yoni's flywheel, about how currently Chainlink's the kind of front-running chain when it comes to connecting chains. It was, I think it might be Oracle elements, you're right, yeah. And then apparently, of course, how Casper could fill that gap and take over easily.
I think it's related to oracles, and we've been doing some research work into oracles as well. But it's something that I'm not directly involved in, so I can't speak.
Awesome. Well, I've got one more question, unless you got something you want to take away first, Joe.
No, we're just going to ask Rory, has he got any cool kind of gadgets that he's been working on that work on Casper? Anything else that he'd like to show off? I mean, this is what I like about you, Rory. You don't have to come on and tell the Casper community what's going on. You could just stay in the background because you don't really deal with retail at all. But that's the good thing about you. You like telling the community what's going on with Casper and how it's going and what you're building, and you could just disappear altogether and not bother. I'm just saying this because of some people, the way they go on.
Well, we're a privately funded foundation. We haven't asked for funds from the community for anything. Anything that we're doing, we're financing ourselves or financing the partners. A a lot of the things that we're doing eventually will become commercial projects for us through KI Commercial. But at the same time, we want to service the energy market, particularly to build services for like ZETA and make ZETA a reality, and enable the energy transition, to green hydrogen and greater solar and small modular nuclear reactors and ferrogranulate, the iron powder, and various other different things. So it's in our interest to be building this. We looked for a very long time, and I repeatedly say we're an industry-facing organization. We're not offering anything really to the crypto community, as such. So we're not doing DeFi's. We're not launching. We're not launching any real consumer products in any real way. It's not an area that we're interested in. We're going after industrial and commercial users, supply chain and logistics, like that.
Yeah.
So we just would like to keep the community informed, because we've made some nice friends, and we have relationships with people, and the Casper community is unbelievably great 99% of the time, and we'd like to support it a little bit by just people are worried about securities budgets. They're worried about how can Casper grow into something greater, and we believe that Casper can be a hell of a lot greater than what it is at the moment, and hence we have people working on satellites, we have people working on supply chain and logistics and hardware integration and sensors and IoT devices that can interact. We're working with telcos on telco solutions, so all big heavy duty stuff. And where Kaspa shines is that we're going in talking about a technology, and many of these. So let's take the telecom stuff, for example. Several big telcos have tried introducing and using blockchain for their operations before, and set up consortium amongst themselves to do it. And they ran into exactly the same problems that we did in terms of scalability, volume of transactions, microtransactions, and how to do it. So there was a scalability wall that they all ran into, and then there was a sovereignty wall in terms of having to use chains that were operated by corporates. And that's not great, for the global telecom network, which is, requires all sorts of different interconnects and various different things to happen at different levels. And there's also issues of trust around that. So in many cases, they've been where the energy sector was in the past, where they just couldn't. The blockchain solutions just weren't suitable.
Mm. I think that's been the biggest reason, if you will, why it's taken TradFi so incredibly long to bridge onto DeFi. Is the inability to scale on some elements, the lack of interoperability, and then a load of other buzzwords, but yet real concerns in regards to security and other elements on like who is liable when these transactions go wrong. And that's something that I see the work being done, especially with Casper and its architecture, and the work done with KI. They are solving all, and I'm excited. I can say the very least. I'm excited. It's insane.
So we have say Olive Chain as an example, and Olive Chain was the first sort of proof of concept of supply chain logistics. We've since gone on and built a much more industrial scale version of Olive Chain, which we call Works. KAI works. So we do actually work. and what that KAI works integrates with Warpcore, it integrates with KTT, and it integrates with other things that we're doing. But Works is designed to digitize global trade and supply chain processes, and also deal with the critical documents that are associated with them, like certificates of origin, invoices, health certificates, certificates of conformity, customs declarations, and the digitalization of all of that. For streamlining and secure digitalized transactions across borders, and to provide that on neutral global rails to allow for validation by governments and businesses and individuals without centralized intermediaries. So we've built another platform for facilitating global trade and supply chain management and supply chain processes, and that was an evolution of Olive Chain.
Olive Chain, KRI Works, GeoSeal, Flow, Warpcore, Gigabot, many more we don't know about. Yeah. Also that one that we saw recently, that CIA, the Continuous Identity Attestation. And I mean, that in itself, I mean, actually, if you have the time as well, I know we are about an hour now. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but if you can also break that down a little bit as well, the AI stuff, that'd be also insane.
Yeah, that's basically around giving AIs a digital identity. So it's we have Know Your Customer. This is a solution for Know Your AI.
And I saw you responded to was it to Coin or to a response in most scars of Coinbase's agentic wallets as well. How apparently there were some issues around it.
Yeah, they had a lot of issues, and we've been working on that for a while because we have some other projects that rely on AI for customers, and it's very important that if transactions, and it's also important from a compliance and legal perspective, that if AIs are actually doing financial transactions, that they're whitelisted, so we know who's responsible. You can't just say, "Oh, it's a rogue AI." Well, somebody programmed the AI, and somebody's either getting the benefit or the loss of it. So we need to understand, who's behind the AI, and that's quite important for regulatory compliance. You wouldn't allow a stranger to take access to your accounts and do all sorts of things with it. And the same with AIs, having AIs do financial transactions. There needs to be a method of tracking the identity. So using the power of the block DAG and the speed of it and everything else, we developed a thing called continuous identity attestations. So it's a little project that we're working on. It's a sub project for something else that we're working on, but it's interesting nonetheless.
I'm guessing, to ask, would you agree with the words of Pavel and Michael Sutton when they believe that, with regard to confidence and just even Casper at its current level right now, that the agentic AI era that's coming, Casper would be perceived as the strongest protocol out there for this AI adoption?
The next million users will be AI agents,
and they'll come to Casper.
I would agree with that. Casper is a very strong contender for the next billion Casper wallets. More than likely going to be AI agents.
Yeah,
the transaction fees are so low, the speed is so good, and as we move to real-time decentralization, it's a no-brainer.
And if Casper can also, and it's I think again inevitable, the interoperability elements of Casper improves, which you're seeing with the bridging to other chains and stuff happening already. It also makes it more desirable for AI because it doesn't get kind of trapped. Therefore, it will be able to expand into other chains should it need to.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good use case scenarios, coming down the line, and the with things like covenants coming on board, vprogs later, and the move to this idea of a real-time decentralized piece of infrastructure. I think the opportunities are just going to start accelerating.
Yeah, I would care to agree. Now I've got one more question before then. I think we get into some community questions and then we'll let you go, Rory, which you spoke about earlier. You mentioned to me and Joe that apparently KRI or Alicia said there's a Casper node running in Minecraft, which imagine my shock when I heard that.
Yeah, it's true. We have successfully deployed a node inside Minecraft, and for really good reasons. So digital twinning is a big issue for industry, and occasionally we need to test things. And so we need to create digital twins of processes. And Minecraft is extremely programmable. And we have actually used, and from time to time do use Minecraft to do some testing on digital twins.
I think I find the idea of a Casper node on Minecraft more shocking than Coney. I don't know why. I find the idea of a node in Minecraft more shocking and more funny than a node being in space.
Yeah, so we wanted to test transactions for Olive Chain. So we built a an olive grove and a processing factory, and then a shop, a lab, and then a verification. So we can actually have barcodes which you can QR scan in Minecraft. If you want to see it, I may actually have.
Oh, please.
Something that I can share.
So my 7-year-old is playing Minecraft at the moment, and I had to go into the marketplace and get her a new furniture pack so she have all up-to-date furniture. So, like, would I find something to do with a Kaspa node in the marketplace, or how would I speed this out? No, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
No, I know nothing about Minecraft.
I'm just going to share with you just a screen. Let me just do the screen sharing again, and then I'll share with you one final just little fun thing that we've been working on. Screen sharing. There must be a keyboard shortcut for this. Allow to share window.
Maybe your streaming platform will be better, Rory, when it comes out.
So this is a screen for a CBAM carbon import. So this is the live screen running on testnet, and so I don't think I can zoom. I can't zoom in, but basically it says cargo registered, declaration submitted, bond posted, verification process, levy settled, and cargo released. So you can see here shipping containers, where we've been scanning the QR codes of shipping containers through a port. This is supposed to be a port, by the way.
Is there a Redstone factory as well?
So
Oh my god, that is so sick.
These blocks here are meant to represent imported steel. So let me just play it a little bit. So this is the Cascraft CBAM digital twin for imported steel, CBAM port. So 2,400 tons of Turkish steel have come in on a vessel, and we have the cargo manifest. We go inside customs, and you can see a covenant at the top. Covenant rule declarations submission required. Oops. Covenant locked escrow, 50,000 kas, cannot withdraw. Then the escrow is locked, consensus enforced, validation lab. So it validates the CO2 data and everything else that's associated with the carbon threshold. So that's passed, and the escrow has been released, and 8,000 kas has been refunded. You can see there at the top. PSKT signing, so it requires three offices to sign. So the three have been signed, and then all the conditions have been met. And then if we continue, the gates have opened. CAS transactions, 3 signatories, 1 covenant gate has opened, and the cargo has been released. But in this case, we simulated one of the containers of cargo has been blocked. So it's covenant rejected, verification required, and yeah, that was CBAM port. Then we tested all of that then against the real system. And initializing CBAM digital twin on Kaspa goes through what's happening. The carbon bond has been posted. Carbon validator has measured the embedded emissions. The levy is settled, and the cargo is released. So you can see Casper working in Minecraft. So it is actually real, and it is possible to embed a Casper node inside Minecraft and have Minecraft talk to a Casper node as well.
That is
crazy.
What did I accept for 2026? That was
you weren't expecting that.
For 2026, I was not expecting Casper on Minecraft courtesy of KRI. That's a bucket list for sure.
Yeah, so we've been playing around with a lot of different things, because we're building various different apps, and we're making judicious use of covenants and everything else, and we're testing a whole bunch of different things for different customers, in terms of apps using covenants, and to that end, we've even built a little app ourselves, which is to test some ideas in covenants, in terms of covenants, and also allow users and businesses to actually understand covenants a little bit better. So If you like, I can share something else with you if we have time.
Yeah.
Well, the more the merrier.
So let me just push this away. This time I think I had to share the screen.
So much better on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Just seeing it all is so much better. I think after this we'll get Joe to go through some of the questions. Because I have got a few, I think, people who are asking some as well. So anyone got any questions in the chat? Of course, as well, family, if you're enjoying today's exclusive with Rory, which has been more than I expected, to say the very least. You enjoy the stuff we do. You know what to do. Leave us both a like, share with your friends and family, spread the word of Casper, subscribe to our channels for more content like this. You can follow KRI, all that stuff on Twitter, whatnot, and ourselves. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat and we'll get around to them shortly. We can see the screen right now, Rory.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a little app that we put together.
Communicator.
So this is connected to testnet 12, and we have chats and calls and various other things, wallets. But what's much more interesting is using covenants inside the app. So this is just a demo. So we can send messages. You can send a message, but you can also send Kaspa in line. Split a bill at Wolfie's bar. If you're not buying rounds, and this is just some of the basic stuff. We can also share content, and this can be used any way anybody likes it. We can share a locked, what we call a locked photo. So let's just take this nice bush here. And we can send it so that if the person who receives it wants to view it, you can send a nice flower bush. And the recipient can choose to pay some cash and unlock it.
To see your bush. Yeah.
So, moving on from that.
It's very 80s.
Yeah, we've also been playing around with a labs feature. So we have on-chain agreements. So we have an agreement where there's counterparties, a summary of the agreement, terms of the agreement, and you can lock an agreement like an NDA or a business agreement or whatever else straight away on chain. Same with escrows, a multi-sig vault, a recurring payments engine that makes periodic payments, and then we've done some things on security as well, which is quite interesting. And again, this is just playing with covenants. So we have one is social recovery. Your trusted contacts help restore your access if you lose access to your wallet. Recovery packets, but inheritance is quite an interesting one. it's effectively a dead man switch. So you can name beneficiary. And if you don't check in periodically, or you don't use the app or respond to any of the reminders the app sends, and after a year or after 6 months, your Casper balance that you've selected to be sent gets automatically sent out of your account to the recipient. So it's very good in terms of inheritance and legacy and those sorts of things. So that's just some of the things that we've done, and then for more serious users, we have I think it's here. We have a Covenants playbook. We have a whole heap of templates, hodl vaults, recurring payments, an explorer of all sorts of different pre-written codes. So
Do you have the whitelist feature there as well? You know, only certain wallet addresses can receive Casper from your address.
Yeah. So we have pay to read, which you just saw earlier. We also have pay to have a video call as well for groups, the social recovery, the message anchoring, decentralized or digital identity, which is something that we're working on, and vouch attestation. So we've made a whole bunch of different things for people to test and play with, and then we have a playground built into the app for people to experiment and play with covenants and come up with new things themselves. So we have various different templates to start with, and then an editor, and then you can where you want and what you think of. So that's Communicator. So that's not necessarily something that we're Have I lost you guys?
No, we can see you. We hear you. Yeah.
Internal. You
So
finished sharing, are you?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was just something that we built with some of our interns just to play around with, and to make it easier for people to actually understand covenants and what they can actually do in a real and practical way, as well as make phone calls and video calls. And it works in a very similar way to Cassia. It's probably compatible with Cassia. You can probably add a Cassia contact, and it'll work just fine with any existing Cassia users.
Yeah. All right.
I know a lot of my community are very excited about Cassia, so that is great news to hear ultimately.
Yeah. So. Minecraft and fun and games. What do you make of what we've been up to since we've last spoken?
Busy.
Very busy. Yeah, I don't know how you do all the stuff with Warp Core and ZETA, and then you have time to do the Minecraft thing as well.
Having fun at the same time.
Minecraft is actually really useful, extremely useful as a digital twin. It's a lot less expensive than other digital twin options that are out there, because we can put them together really, really quickly and easily, and they're quick and dirty. But they allow us to test, the logic behind certain processes.
Okay. Whoa.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm out of questions, and I am shell shocked for a lot of what I've seen today, Roy. So thank you very much for that. I think now Joe can get through some.
We have a few there. Yeah, we don't really talk about price, Rory, as you know, but somebody's asking about Binance. Now, you said before that Binance, kind of the way they're not really talking to Casper, they are dealing with them, but they haven't listed Cas as on the spot, as spot. So, but you were saying all these enterprise, all these energy companies, there's gonna be their new exchanges coming out, and they're gonna have to load up on Casper, aren't they? So Binance are kind of gonna regret not listing Casper in the end. Were you saying that before?
Yeah. Well, if we build the things that we build, customers are going to need on ramps, on and off ramps into crypto. If Binance and Coinbase don't want to do it and service the market for our customers, there's plenty of other exchanges that will, or else we'll just become an exchange ourselves.
Yeah.
Is that more alpha that we're waiting for now as well?
Well, we have all the elements of it. We have ZETA, which is a
zero machine trading exchange. Yeah.
A digital commodity trading exchange. So, we have all of the functionality. We have Warp Core there as well.
Agent Flow.
We have Item Flow, which is a DAG native market maker, which is very, very novel and unique. There's nothing else like it exists. So, we could conceivably just do our own exchange and facilitate our community that way. Do I have anything else to speak to in terms of what Binance and Coinbase are doing? Not really. I'm aware that Coinbase has been ready for some time. I don't know what they're doing. Or sorry, Binance. And I have certain explicit words which are not really family friendly of how to describe Coinbase.
Yeah, I know. I sent out that letter to them a little over a year ago now, almost 2 years now.
That basically they're a bunch of, and you can fill in whatever after that. They can do what they do. They will bring a certain amount of retail volume, but it'll come in time.
Yeah.
Another question there, Rory. Would you have any idea of how much Cas will go to miners at the start of Warp Core on the mainnet? So it depends.
Oh, they've done some hypothesis. I'm guessing he's asking, has there been some
testing? Some testing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and how much Cas will go to miners?
We've done some calculations, but it all very much depends on how much adoption we get. We still have a long road to go to before we get MICA approval and approvals from VARA and various other regulatory agencies. We're doing this the right way. So there's tens and tens of thousands of banks all around the world, and there's a lot of banks in slightly underdeveloped countries that are using correspondent banking, and it takes an eternity. So there's lots of scope for a very easy plug and play solution that Warp Core offers, and because we drop down a layer deeper into banking systems for the Swift or for the ISO 222 standard and for Swift capabilities or compatibility, we can probably get better adoption than I think other projects. But as to how it'll add to the security, the package loads are quite big, but that will be the case for quite a lot of the things that we're doing.
Okay, thank you. I wonder what Roy thinks of the new Swift platform for payments.
Well, you saw our comparison list earlier. We can do a lot.
Yeah, the two so-called best was Ripple and Swift, and then you had KRI that did everything and more.
Yeah, well, we can do securities and all sorts of other things. Central bank, digital currencies, bank issued stable coins. So we just went all in. And we probably have more things to add in one of the future phases. I know our to-do list is quite extensive. There's other things that we would like to do to increase its capabilities. And that includes Cas Union as well, a very early project that we talked about at the Kaspa in Enterprise event. So that's for facilitating credit unions worldwide. So rather than big major banking institutions, we're also able to facilitate credit unions.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that because there was a list of like 10 or so projects that was announced very early on in KRI's founding, like Asset Mint, for example, as well.
Asset Mint is built and working, and that works directly with KTT. So Asset Mint is more for real world asset tokenization. But that's built and operational and ready for more extensive testing. And we'll do more testing on that. Once we're past May 5th, and we've gone through some more process with Workcore. Workcore remains the primary goal first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that.
Man from Bogota wants to know, what problem are they fixing with the olive tree industry? Is this only for corporations, or people can participate as well?
No, it's also for olive plantations and olive growers and processors who make boutique products, so that their provenance is checked end to end. So that also includes all the lab testing. So within olives, you have 24 hours from harvest to press for it to be considered extra virgin. And then it has to have a certain chemical content and polyphenol content and various other different metrics to qualify it. But that also then gives each batch a unique biomarker and qualifies the quality. So for artisan type olive oil, companies and individuals in Greece and Italy and North Africa and Turkey and everywhere else, it's a very useful way for them to both prove provenance, but for also consumers to be able then to scan a barcode and see exactly where it came from. And then because the trees themselves are yield producing assets, they can be tokenized because they produce a quantifiable yield that has a value. So you can tokenize the underlying asset.
Yeah. So a man from Bogota can buy an olive tree, and you can just track all the produce coming from it.
Yeah, and then get a dividend from it.
I saw that. I think it might have been KRI that we posted it, or someone did, but I saw that complication that happened where I think it was the EU or in the EU they reported that there was issues with the extra virgin olive oil and not actually being like, there was an issue down the supply chain. And I think the KRI one is saying it's something that olive chain would fix because you'd be able to see where the actual issue lied. So I can try and find the post.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with adulteration of olive oil, and many other products, like in the agri chain and food supply chain, and cold supply chain related to food and pharmaceuticals. There's a lot of adulteration that happens, and in pharmaceuticals, a lot of fake medicines and things like that out there as well.
One more there, but it's KII integrated Swift. But what about SEPA?
No, SEPA's in there as well.
Wow. Warp cores everywhere, or it will be if not already.
That's how I like. I'm going to take part in the IGRA auction, so I'm going to do a SEPA bank transfer from my Revolut to Kraken. So in the future, that could be going over
Warp.
Kaspa.
It could be going over Casper rails, yeah.
Brilliant.
I think that's the big part that a lot of people, they may understand it or maybe not fully grasp it, but it's the fact that, from my understanding, most people won't understand or even acknowledge how things run. Like if you think, for the example, the internet, not a lot of people take into consideration the protocol it runs off, the HTTPS. And I think the same thing is going to be for finance. Not everyone considers the SEPA or the Swift that runs on top of that. But now, with what's happening right now, you'll see blockchain inevitably become this kind of rail for finance going forward. They won't necessarily realize they'll be running on, in this instance, Warp Course or Casper, but it will happen. And that is where it gives the inclination of how early we really, really are.
Yeah, well, you know, if I think most people do not realize how fast tokenization is going to happen over the next 4 years. The tokenization of real world assets in particular, and the issuance of more digital currencies and bank issued digital currencies. So, you know, we have to have the rails for them. And with Warp Core is the only proof of work banking rails in the world.
I saw a clip from, I think it was the DTCC earlier, where they claimed that they want to try and get the last 50 plus years of like banks and the money onto blockchain in the next 55 weeks or something like that. It's just to give an inkling on how quickly tokenization is going to start taking over.
It's going to happen much faster than anybody expects. That's for sure. And you know, if this, you know, crypto cycle is and all the hype is around AI, the next one will be all about tokenization.
I think it's going to be both. I think AI might start it, and then when that AI kind of that cools off a little bit and that hype goes, then tokenization will start taking the reins, following the regulatory clouds that come through as well.
Yeah, like there's trillions, you know, tens of trillions of dollars worth of assets that can be tokenized, and all of that releases liquidity into the markets. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Particularly then when the trading is cheap, almost free and instant.
Why is Joe always picking fights, man? Joe's always picking fights with my viewers.
Yeah, well, Crypto Gosu, I met him in Berlin and yapping away to him, and now I can tell he's watching from your channel and not from my channel. So
yeah,
I'm trying to poach him back.
Leave Gosu alone, he's a goat, bro.
Yeah.
One last question here from Pesky Poo as well.
I think you know, tokenization is going to be much bigger than anybody has ever anticipated.
That's what I had I would agree based on my research. I saw a post. Who was it from? It was either IBM or Signum Bank, where they had stated in their report at the very bottom of it, as the rest of the crypto market seems to be struggling for direction right now, tokenization is one of the most important trends to monitor this year.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that. You know, in the crypto space, there's not so much. You know, there's a lot of bullshit AI projects out there. A lot of them. There's only one or two that actually have any real credibility. Tau being my personal favorite. You know, and that's not an endorsement really. It's just I like how it works, and
yeah,
interesting project, and it'd be really great if we could do some sort of fusion between Kaz and Tau in the future. Who knows what might happen? But it's very interesting. But I think, we've seen models become smarter and better. So, there was NVIDIA just released a new model the other day where it's a 30 billion parameter model, and it outcompetes a trillion token model, a trillion parameter model. So the big rush to AI and everything else is, the AIs are also getting better. The models are getting better. They're getting smarter. They're getting more compact. Where there's even reasonable models that you can self-host on a device like an iPhone that are competent for most people's day-to-day usage. So I think the big rush for the hyperscaling data centers may not turn out to be the case, because one, the power grid just can't take them, and the capex involved is huge. And then you have Elon, who on Saturday announced, well, he's just going to build and manufacture the data centers in space. So, you're competing against that. I can't remember the name of the project, but he just announced it on Saturday evening. So, space is also going to be a huge game changer when it comes to building sovereignty, building network resiliency for everything.
In the whole of space.
Hence, having Kaspa nodes in space for the ultimate sovereignty, for the ultimate real-time decentralization layer is really sensible. It's a sensible thing to do. It might sound like a joke to some people, but there's actually a really good solid business case behind it, and not just one token satellite which is just there for risk reduction, but for doing a constellation of maybe spread across different regions, maybe 130 to 200 satellites, where they're also picking up telemetry from IoT devices and various other things. So they have dual functions. So and it really then adds and strengthens the Kaspa narrative as being truly sovereign, decentralized, and ultra secure. Especially when nation states can come along and just blow up a data center, or take chainsaws to fiber optic cables under the sea. And Jerry, you'll know how fragile fiber is. It doesn't take very much to go through it.
No, you kink it and that's it.
Yeah. So we have a very fragile communications network. There's so many backups. It's great. But when you remove latency and you're talking, you have nodes and communications talking to each other in space, you're reducing latency time, and you have much greater resiliency.
Okay. Wow.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah. I feel like every time I do a talk with you, Rory, I have to rewatch this stuff like 5 times back over. Happily, may I reiterate, happily doing so, but I need to rewatch it because I'm like just overloaded information. We had Minecraft, we had Warp Core, we had this space, we had I'm still hooked on the Minecraft thing. We had so much.
I'll try and make a short video of the olive chain Minecraft simulation.
That would be awesome. That'd be epic.
Yeah.
And it shows connecting to testnet 12 in Minecraft, and then we actually have a green box with a Kaspa logo on it, which symbolizes the the actual node that's built inside. It's a Kaspa Light node.
It's going to be a full redstone torch setup as well, yeah.
We can only really mod the Java version, so there's only so much we can do. But it's fun, and the people who've been working on that are getting real value out of it, and they're having great fun with it as well.
I can imagine.
And if people do want to go and experiment and build things in Minecraft with Kaspa, it is actually against Microsoft's terms and conditions. Yeah, so you're not allowed to put crypto or blockchain things inside under. Yeah, it's Mojang is the owner, so under their T's and C's you're not supposed to do it. But in the modding world, you're not supposed to do lots of things.
Yeah.
But there is the open source alternative versions that you can do things in as well. It's just there isn't as many plugins and downloadable extras that work with that. So yeah, we're breaking the rules a little bit on that one.
Yeah, but
it's not blockchain; it's a block DAG. So you say blockchain and crypto. So we'll just argue something different.
Loopholes, you love a loophole.
Yeah.
Supply chain logistics. And that's literally what we've been testing. We also built a solar farm and some other things in Minecraft as well, and we were doing sort of peer-to-peer trading between them, and that was fun as well.
We'll have to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, maybe we can make a video of it, or maybe we can actually get someone who's better at operating it than me just to take you through, and maybe we can arrange that for another video.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
It'll increase the audience count, of 7 to 15-year-olds quite significantly, I'm sure.
Yeah, but technically speaking, for investments, I don't think 15 lower should be on this, but hey. Bending a few rules, who can't?
It'll be kid-friendly content.
Hey, kid-friendly content.
On smart contracts and supply chain logistics and covenant logic.
Gonna be raising the next Casper core dev.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's now through all of the questions. Thank you very much, Roy, once again.
Thanks,
Pleasure
Rory.
as always for you taking your time out today to chat with all of us and explain and even show what KRI are doing. That's why I prefer YouTube than Chris and Lev's X, because you can actually see what is being built. I will continue to fire shots.
Just so many people that have been asking to show us what you're doing. It's often quite difficult. We have some other really cool things that I'd really love to show, but they belong to actual businesses and
the non-disclosures, of course.
But there's some really, really cool things that they're working on, like really cool, that I'm super excited about.
Well,
okay.
I'm sure we'll hear more about it when the time is right.
Yeah. So after May 5th, we should start seeing some more interesting things.
Well, there you go, family. We got alpha today, and we got more alpha in the next couple of months. I'm sure we'll have Roy back on around that point as well, if possible. So look forward to that as always. But yes, thank you.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to share some of this stuff with you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
More than a pleasure.
Help just give some insights and clear up any confusions that there is out there about what we're actually working on. And remember that we have to market build first and go through regulatory stuff, because we're not operating in the crypto Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer the Wild West now. It's a full regulatory industrial era. So certain steps need to be taken. They take a while, but it's all for creating a better foundation. So yeah, thank you very much, Roy. And with that being said, family, if you enjoyed today's stream, as always, you know what to do. Leave a like, share your friends, subscribe for more. Thanks to Rory once more for tuning in and sharing his expertise and insight on what's happening. He'll be back again on. He'll be back on again. Wait, he'll be back on again at some
Hopefully.
point soon. Hopefully, I'm still very sure. I'm very sure of that. But yeah, thank you very much. Myself and Joe, as always.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Take care.